Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I apologize for my JK Rowling video. I know people found it hard to follow along because I needed to cut out certain words because apparently I'm not allowed to say them on this platform, believe it or not. So, yeah, there's that. I am doing the very best that I possibly can. There are more and more things that this particular platform is not allowing me to do and say. Harder and harder on me. So I don't know what else to do aside from trying to be clever and be as creative as I possibly can. Today, we're going to be looking at the hardest part of having a non-binary or trans kid is other people. Yes, it's not the fact that you have decided to lie to your kid. It's the fact that it's other people that are the actual problem to you having something that is made up and fantasy and according to science, is not real. A child, there is no such thing as a trans child or a non-binary child. You know why? Or even an adult for that fact. You know why? Because you can't be something that you're not. That's biologically accurate as well as scientifically, reason and rationale. It all goes in line. But anyway, we're going to have a look at this article today from the New York Times, no less, people. So get ready for some rather intriguing words. A mother recounts the pushback she received from her own family in raising a gender non-conforming child. Well, I think that that pushback from your family is a good thing because you're the one that is affirming something that is utter madness. I stood in silence next to my kitchen sink. Oh, we're off to a great start, people. My hands dripping water onto the floor as my mother berated me for what I had just done. Oh, dear. I tried to stay as calm as I could as she scoffed, swore, laughed, sighed, and grew louder as my two children slept upstairs. Then, without warning, she walked away and closed the guest room door behind her. I found my husband, wrapped my arms around him, and cried. All I had done was gently correct her after she misgendered my child. Oh, I can already see we're off to a fantastic start, people. My husband and I are parents of two loud and lively kids. From the outside, you would never think there's anything different about us. Our younger child is 16 months old, a fledgling toddler who crafts temper tantrums with hashay. Our older child is a 7-year-old who's like other first graders. They tell you very little about their school day when asked. They dislike making their bed, and they want nothing more than the freedom to play Minecraft for upward of 23 hours a day. But one thing does set my first grader apart from others. Our child, who I'll call M, is not the word that I cannot stand. M is non-binary, also known as gender non-conforming, gender creative, gender queer, or gender diverse. M uses they, them pronouns and simply doesn't identify as the you-know-what assigned to M at birth. Oh, dear. So how in the world does a 7-year-old know anything about this? You may be wondering. I don't know either. I really don't know. I can't answer that for you all, but I'm guessing, here is my guess, it's a very accurate guess, is the parents have got something to do with it. From the beginning, as parents, my husband and I weren't the blue for boys, pink for girls type. There you go. Told you. Ah. Oh, dear. We let M dress in the clothing M gravitated towards and wear M's hair in whichever style M liked. We made a point to shy away from anything overtly gendered or from the notion that our child was only entitled to half of the world's opportunities. Still, we were happily raising our child as a term that I don't like without thinking anything about it. Roughly a year ago, when M was 6, M began referring to himself as they. But my husband and I didn't read too much into it. Not at that stage, no. We had equipped them with the language and basic knowledge around the gender spectrum. Yeah, you're doing that as a 6-year-old. Like, what 6-year-old is really going to truly understand the gender spectrum that you've created? Because there is no spectrum, mate. It's a gender binary. Like, my child has come to me and started referring to me as they. How did they figure that out? Because we taught the child about the gender spectrum, not the gender binary, the gender spectrum, people. But kids are unpredictable. True. Very unpredictable. Distractible and fickle about everything from their favorite food to their best friend. So upon hearing our child mention a couple of times that M wanted us to use these gender-neutral pronouns, we agreed somewhat coolly with the intention of offering up a half-hearted attempt to see if M would notice. It felt like a reliable way to see if M really meant it or not. I'll tell you what a reliable way in teaching or educating your child is actually teaching and educating them the right way. Not going, I'm going to teach you about the gender spectrum and then I'm going to test to see whether or not my child is actually legitimate in regards to how they choose to identify as. No, you go, look, you're not this, and here's why you're not this, because there's only this. It worked well enough. Oh, boy. And M toyed between M's original binary pronouns and M adopted neutral ones. So we stayed the course. Keeping in mind, people, that M is only 7 years old or 6 years old at this particular point. Months after that exchange, however, M came home from school distressed about how M's teachers and classmates were referring to M. We realized it was time to have a serious talk with M, as my husband and I talked about gender identity with M and asked M how M saw himself and what M felt. See, these pronouns are ridiculous. Like, you're referring to the person in the third. You're referring to the person in the third person. It's like, M shared with us that M no longer identified with the gender we had always known M to be. I just feel like a human being, like a person. That's all, M insisted. He's a 6-year-old kid. So here is the 6-year-old kid. You're letting the 6-year-old parent itself. M-self is what you're doing. You're not being the adult here. Children can and do know their gender identity, said Dr. Diane Aschenschaft, a psychologist and the mental health director of the Child and Adolescent Gender Center at the University of California, San Francisco, Benioff Children's Hospital. Geez, that's a mouthful. But this so-called Dr. Diane psychologist doesn't tell you how kids know this so-called gender identity, because a kid is fickle-minded. A kid changes their mind at the drop of a hat. So unless you are educating or indoctrinating that child, how are they going to know anything about this gender identity? I had no clue about it when I was growing up. See, if you teach a child that there's only male and female and nothing else, the child is going to grow up rather healthy, isn't it? But if you teach a child that there is this wonderful spectrum, a kid's imagination is obviously going to do what? It's going to run wild. Here we go. As long as we learn to listen to them, rather than tell them who they are, we give them a leg up in having a healthy life. Well, here's the thing, Dr. Eschenschaft. The problem with your way of raising a child is it's not actually healthy. You're lying to the child. If you tell the child that there is more than one gender, you're lying to them. If you say to the child that there is only two genders, male and female, you're giving them a healthy dose of reality because that's what science says, isn't it? Oh, no. Science is wrong. Begone, science! Dr. Eschenschaft explained how parents of gender non-conforming children and adolescents need to be troop leaders, listeners, and facilitators rather than dictators, because the better a parent is at grasping and subsequently teaching gender literacy, the more successful their children will ultimately be. It's simple. Teach them there's only male and female, nothing more. Not these 70 billion other genders that they want to have on the planet. With children, gender identification and expression can start in the toddler years, become nuanced in the early elementary years, and continue to develop with age, said Colleen Williams, psych, a psychologist with a gender multi-specialty services at Boston Children's Hospital. See, they're creating these new fandangle departments that have no basis in reality whatsoever. And they wonder why we've got weak-minded kids. Not just that, but victims in many cases. This is why, which provides care to gender diverse and transgender individuals and their families. People can explore their gender identity at any age, Dr. Williams added. Statistics and research about non-binary children is limited. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could it be that it's not actually real or has any basis in reality? Jeez, that must be it. No, it's not that. No, it's not that at all. It's just extremely limited. We'll just stay with that. It's limited. However, part of this could be that our society operates mostly within a binary system, which leaves little to no room for the representation of those who exist in the gender spectrum's vast grey area, Dr. Williams said. Yeah, right. Well, you're living in a fantasy world, aren't you? Good luck with that. How in the world did you get your degree? As time passed and we had more conversations with M, we watched M settle comfortably into M's non-binary gender identity. We asked M pointed questions. We listened to M as M did their best to explain what being gender non-conforming, or GNC for short, meant to M. And we respectfully relented when we saw that holding M's gender identity under the microscope for too long only led to emotional upheaval. So you're letting the kid chuck a tantrum because the kid didn't get its way. Great parenting skills. Simply speaking, we made our message clear. We told M we love M unequivocally. We're here for M, that M is welcome to tell us or ask us anything, and that we would check in with M periodically to keep tabs on M's mental health. Well done. That's wonderful parenting. Wonderful parenting. At M's request, we enrolled M in a peer group at school for fellow GNC students, led by the school's social work team. So M spends a portion of every week with those who understand M the best. Oh, boy. So, yep, let's continue furthering the delulu even more, shall we? According to the American Psychological Association, mental health outcomes can improve in children whose gender identities are affirmed and supported. Yeah, right. And then it just gets worse from there. Yeah, let's give them a short happiness wave because they feel like they're being accepted. Yeah, let's accept this, man. That's a great way to form a healthy, functioning child. It's normal and understandable if this is a difficult issue to reconcile, and for a lot of parents it is. But there are resources that can help parents. which will ultimately help the child, said Amy Tilsman, PhD, a clinical psychologist and the director of clinical research in the Gender Multi-Specialty Service Program at Boston Children's Hospital. Far out. You've got a long as like what you do and where you work at, but yet you've got no common sense whatsoever. You've got a piece of paper that says you can, do psychology, but yet you can't. Well done. That was a waste of money. She added that giving children the freedom to explore their gender identity is key to their well-being and resilience. I disagree with that a lot because kids that do this have got no resilience whatsoever. They're weak-minded and they're fickle, very fickle. In fact, they become so much more like victims. It's like we've got these young kids that enter into the workplace and they get upset and chuck a fit in a tantrum in the toilet because someone at their work ended them. Yeah, right. It's building resilience, isn't it? Good grief. These psychologists need a massive wake-up call. They sit in their ivory towers getting paid goodness knows how much, a lot of money, to talk absolute rubbish. I don't even have a degree, but I know for a fact all this stuff is wrong. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. Supporting and advocating for transgender and gender diverse people allows them the opportunity to develop a positive self-image. Yeah, let's validate the madness even more, shall we? And adopt effective coping strategies in the face of aspersion or microaggressions. There we have it, people. They're microaggressions. The small, tiniest thing that can set off a young person because they are very resilient, aren't they? Dr. Enshaft said, furthermore, she said, teaching gender literacy offers a hopeful path towards dispelling the negativity, ignorance and, and that so commonly exists for this community. They're just terms you want to throw out there. Anyway, I anticipated, but I'll take 1,000 more lashings if ultimately grants M the opportunity to exist in peace, exactly as M is. It shouldn't be a reach to ensure our child is treated with respect and kindness regardless of gender. 7 years old, M has a solid grasp of their gender identity. And within the confines of our home, M knows very well that M is seen, heard, and loved and accepted. That truly is my privilege and my joy. But as it goes, loving and supporting my non-binary child of who M is the way that they are, is the way that M says that M is the easy part. What takes real work is persuading those closest to us that they ought to do the same. Yeah, the ones that are close to you that are going, like your mum, like you had a actual breakdown over the fact that your mum told you the truth, but you don't want to listen to that. Oh, dear me. What if someone was to tell me the truth? Oh, how am I going to react to this? Oh, where's my resilience? Oh, help me. I'm going to break down in tears, man. Help me, help me. That's how this mother is acting. And the kid acts the exact same way, damn it. Like, I'm going to calm down. Oosa. This is why society has a major problem. They're blaming us for not accepting them for how they claim to be, but yet they can't really accept who they actually are, but yet they want us to accept them and affirm the madness even more. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. There you go, people. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.